Previously on Ladies of Letters.
I've always wanted to visit one of Her Majesty's residences.
I was remanded in custody, awaiting trial, which could take anything up to 2 years.
I'm here because of Karen.
I've just heard on the grapevine that you and I are in the same boat.
They suspect me of being an international drugs runner.
Would anybody like my sausage?
Of course, I always knew I was a performer. I present.
My dear V, what a wonderful idea of yours it was to swap socks for Christmas gifts to each other. I don't want you to be upset because I got caught talking to you. I really don't mind the idea of solitary at all now that I've seen you. My greatest hope is that with good behaviour they'll honour the promise and let me out to join in the so-called New Year celebrations. And I might have a chance to see you again. Oh, now, I have discovered a small hole around one of the pipes, and I've ascertained by knocking and whispering that it goes right through to the cell upstairs. So, hello?
Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Yes, thank you. There's a very nice woman called Susan, and she's in wearing a crucifix to work. Well, it was a very large crucifix, and she was nailed to it at the time. Anyway, she says that she'll smuggle a note to you if I push it up to her. She sounded as if she knew you. Well, of course, your on-board celebrity goes before you.
Oh, irritable bowel syndrome, miss. Well, I'm in the bowels of a ship and I'm irritable.
V, when we get out of here, and you'll note I don't say if, shall we set up house together? If we teamed up, then we could sell one of our houses and pool our resources and live together in a sort of mini commune. Well, like communists, really, only happier and freer and with nicer clothes. We could even have your daughter Karen and a baby to stay with us if she's got nowhere else to go.
Is she mad?
Oh, I've had a letter from my daughter Leslie. It was so nasty that they left it completely uncensored. In it, she says that word of my incarceration has reached them in Wollongong, New South Wales, and after a family conference with her husband Keith, they have decided to tell Cheryl Marie, my little granddaughter, that Nana is dead and has gone to heaven. Really? How could they? Leslie says it's to save Cheryl Marie from the stigma of having a convict for a relative. I should have thought in Australia not having one would stigmatise you more. The ward has just been in to give me my night medication, so I shall have to sign off now, as I can already feel myself dribbling and nodding off. Happy Boxing Day, dear. I shall think of you over the turkey goulash. Oh, I'm going to sleep tonight in bed in your socks as a special seasonal treat. My feet in your socks, my hand in your hand, under the benches. What a day. Season's greetings. Irene.
Dear Irene, I was rather troubled when I received your last. Frankly, dear, you sound unhinged. My feet in your socks, your hand in mine. What is this, some kind of suicide love pact? Do be careful, dear, surrounded as we are by censoring eyes and ears. You don't want to give the wrong impression. Thank you for your lovely extra present. A papier-mâché tooth mug's just what I need. Did you chew the Bronco all by yourself? What a labour of love. I managed to smuggle out a Christmas token to my son, Howard. A crust of bread with my teeth marks in it. And yesterday I was allowed a visit from him.
Darling Mummy?
He brought me a belated Christmas gift. A goatskin smock and half a pound of muesli. And an admission. He's gay. He said I wasn't to worry as he and his partner, Anthony, were thoroughly monogamous. I said, reassuring us that it wouldn't help with the neighbours. I can't deny it's been a momentous shock. Though, if I'm honest, I always knew there was something. But today, Beefy, my cellmate, gave me a heart-to-heart on people of the other persuasion. Apparently they're not all plain and unattractive and can look just like us. The boy couples have dogs and the girls cats, and both types are nice to old people. I can't say I'm thoroughly reconciled, but Beefy promised if I cheer up, she'll do a tattoo on my navel. P.S. Only a couple of days to go and you'll be back amongst us.
Cell 214, 1st January. Dear Vera, a pinch and a punch for the 1st of the month.
And a kick up the behind for being so rude in your last letter.
Unhinged.
You try being in solitary in the bowels of a ship with no heating in a force 8 gale, and then let's talk about what's unhinged. In conditions like those, one naturally clings to memories of warm friendships. Or what one was led to believe was a warm friendship. I suppose you're going to accuse me next of coming out of the cupboard, like your Howard. Oh, as for that fruit of your loins, how could you be so blind? I mean, I tried to tell you more than once, but you just simply did not want to hear. You are so narrow-minded and prejudiced, which is something Karen often said about you, but not about me. And as it happens, you're going to have to swallow another colourful fact in the not-too-distant future. And I just hope your experiences in here have made you a little more tolerant of people's differences and a little less anxious to condemn. Woo. They let me out of solitary yesterday, so I was at the New Year celebration and saw you making a fool of yourself with whom I can only assume is she who is known as Beefy, who actually wants a mermaid tattooed round their navel. You'll have to live with that for the rest of your life. Everybody in my cell thinks you've gone stir crazy. I didn't come over and say hello, as you seem to be having a whale of a time without me. The good news is, I don't suppose you're interested, but my lady barrister says that my briefs will be in court quite soon. They won't give me an actual date, but apparently when I find myself blindfolded on a dinghy being rowed to shore, then I'll know. Anyway, I'm not one to bear malice, as you know, so I wish you a happy new year and all good luck in the future. Very good wishes, Irene.
Cell Block H. Dear Irene.
Tell her I'm indisposed due to a nasty bout of blood poisoning. Tell her I'm sorry she's taken against me, and I'd like to make it up to her before I die.
Which is only too likely, as I've done hers with a fork.
Send her my love, and tell her if she gets out, I need a hairnet. And I suppose you better tell her about Karen going into premature labour last night.
But she hasn't had a result yet.
Dear Beefy, at
At last I am free. I am about to get into a dinghy, afloat on the sea of life. Apart from a little anticipated queasiness, I'm feeling very optimistic. My trial will be tomorrow. And I shall win. So say goodbye to Vera for me, will you? It's a great comfort to know that she's in your hands and not in mine. It's quite a responsibility, as she has got a vicious temper, apart from being vain, selfish, egotistical, and an unfit mother. Oh, I shall be looking after her daughter and the coming baby on my release, which is what Karen has requested. Oh, and by the way, I know Vera espouses racialist views.
Racialist? Me? It's ridiculous. It's dirigible.
So break the news to her as brutally as you like. The baby's father is West Indian. All good wishes for a wonderful life in prison together. Yours, Irene Spencer. An innocent and shortly to be free woman.
Dear Irene, your last letter, care of Beefy, was so angry and brutal and sounded so final. We may have had a serious falling out, but surely you aren't going to abandon our friendship. Your solicitor told me that you'd been acquitted and you're selling your house and moving away. I fervently hope this reaches you before you commit the irrevocable and break off our ties altogether. It's true, I've often found you irritating in the extreme, but it's the kind of irritation that keeps one alive. Don't disappear on me. Unless that is you want my death on your hands. Torturedly yours, V.
Dear Vera, I'm so sorry not to have replied sooner to the yards of bronco that you've been sending. But at the moment, I have my hands full looking after your new baby granddaughter, Sabrina, and your daughter, Karen. But I have not abandoned you, fear not. I am busy organising a Vera Smalls is Innocent fork and finger function. And to that end, could you send me your recipe for blue cheese dip, which Howard insists is the central theme for the buffet? Karen and baby Sabrina and I are staying with him in the Derby Dales at the moment, so send the recipe care of Sheepdipper's Shed, Shooter's Hill, Shap, Shale, Great Shagthorn.
She's taken over my entire family.
You may have read in the papers about my sensational trial. If not, I enclose a cutting. Kind regards. Can you stop that? That is not funny. I'm particularly. I'm good. And I'll have that as well.
Sex mad granny is loco, says Judge. Hundreds of what?
Let's have a look. Hundreds of ex-prisoners, OAPs,
OAPs,
ethnic minorities and peace loonies cheered in court yesterday when pensioner Irene Spencer was officially declared mad and set free. Asked for her comments outside the Old Bailey, 49-year read from a sheet of bronco which she had prepared earlier, stating the innocence of her old friend Vera Smalls, aged 96.
96?
Mrs. Smalls is still serving time for drugs running, but Irene is battling on to free her. If they think I'm mad, says Irene, they should meet Vera.
To whom it may concern. I wish it to be known that I disassociate myself entirely from anything said or done by Irene Spencer in the so-called Vera Smalls' Innocent campaign. As for the blue cheese dip, the recipe's a family secret. Though not one that has been, or you may be sure ever will be, passed on to my ungrateful children. I would like to remind certain personages who it is who's been paying the gas and electricity bills at Sheep Dippers for the past 2 quarters. Not to mention the mortgage, whilst lying in this stinking hold. And no, I'm not referring to the embraces of Beefy, whose personal hygiene has improved immensely while sharing a cell with a civilizing influence, and whose affection, unlike that of some others, is not in question. She may be rough, but she's always more than ready. I'm currently engaged in teaching her to read and write, neatly and accurately, and will shortly be starting a campaign to bring literacy to Her Majesty's prisons. I'm sure I will find great joy in contributing to the wider good, and thus recover from the terrible hurt done by my family and friends, who cannot, it seems to me, be bothered to write me a letter.
Dearest, darlingest Mumsy. No, too flowery.
Darling Mummy?
Yes.
Darling Mummy. We've just received your To Whom It May Concern and we're all terribly upset. How can you have got it so wrong? We all love you desperately and are literally working night and day to get your freedom buffet ready.
Speaking of which...
Oh, my buns!
Irene has been an inspiration to us all, never giving up, battling on through thick and thin, always confident that right will triumph. Ah.
Irene knows what she's doing. You have to be mad to get out of prison these days. It's the only way. Please trust us and play along. All you have to do is roll your eyes and slobber a bit.
Yes, just remind her what she was like with Bill Fawcett.
We're having a big fundraising party for you in a couple of days. Nigel Norris of the Shagthorne Gazette has given a definite yes, and we're still working on getting Posh and Bex. Oh, my love. Howie. Kiss, 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 kiss.
Just the one. Good. Now, Karen.
Mum, for Christ's sake, stop being so pig-headed, grow up and get your arse in gear. Oh, it's horrible here with everyone weeping and wailing all the time. And I'm sick to the back teeth of your usual ingratitude. We're killing ourselves for you out here and all we get is insults.
Do you remember when I climbed the plum tree when I was 6 because you'd been a cow to me? Dad wanted to call the fire brigade, but you just said, no, leave her. It'll teach her a lesson and she'll come down when she's cold and hungry. Either that or she'll fall out. I don't remember saying that. That's pretty much the way I feel about you right now. You can rot in there for all I care. Got to go now. Sabrina's just puked down my neck. Well, welcome to motherhood, dear. From Irene.
Dear Vera, I don't know what right you've got to get shirty with me. If you're cross because of me saying you're insane, then you must be mad. I mean, I am perfectly compos, and yet I'm not too proud to declare myself of unsound mind if it means I get out of jail and get my liberty. Educating the illiterati is all very fine, but I don't think it's going to help your case, and neither does my lady barrister, who's also trying to get Beefy an appeal, so has been going through her briefs as well. I can't begin to tell you what she's found in them so far, but I do advise you to keep her sweet, because she could turn at any moment.
Shakedown!
I'm very happy to be out, despite the fact that I am working my fingers to the bone for your family. See sense, be insane. Best wishes, Irene. P.S. I've decluttered quite a lot of Sheep Dipper's shed. I think you children are beginning to realise that things look a lot better when they're nice and neat and tidy. Oh, no, let me take the baby, Anthony, and then you can get on. Oh, Anthony. Have you no sense of smell?
There once was a wicked old witch.
Who behaved like a terrible bitch.
She came out of jail.
With horns and a tail.
And very good hearing and total control of the purse strings and the larder.
Dear mum-in-law.
Dear mum-in-law, please be nice and come out of prison.
I hope you've come to terms with the news about Howie and me now, although, what with everything Irene's told us concerning your little bad girl's romance inside, it'd be a case of pot calling kettle if you hadn't. Come out, darling. And I mean that in every sense of the phrase. Oh, well, better drag myself up and help our gorgeous boy. There's still acres of pastry to roll out for your fork and finger. Big love, Anthony.
P.S. This funny-looking note paper is organically farmed seaweed, which I have smeared with royal jelly.
Get stuck in, it's what the Queen takes, and look how marvellous she is.
In fact, I know several old queens who do very well on it. Mm.